Let's get this Heavy Rollers podcast going. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Heavy. I am your host, Derrek the Nice Guy Ribera, and that is not the right podcast. I am in the wrong podcast. I am in the wrong headspace today. It's not even Sunday. I'm recording this on a Friday. I also already had it released earlier this morning, or actually it's this afternoon. But I'm hoping to have it released by tonight, by Friday night. You know, so I hope you guys had a good Friday. I hope you guys had a good weekend. You know, hope you guys are out there just fucking doing your thing. And of course, anyway, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Derrek Ribera Show. This is the Air Jordan episode. You know what I'm saying? Episode number 23. I'm sorry I haven't been around lately, guys. I just ain't been around. I'm like your dad. You know, I tell you I'm gonna come and visit you. I tell you, hey, son, I'm gonna come and visit you, son. And then I never show up. And then I wonder why the world, you know, looks at me and calls me a fucking deadbeat. I think I'm channeling something here. I don't know what it is, but it's channeling. Keep on getting notifications on my phone. No one ever hits me up until I start the podcast. You ever notice that? Every time you try to do something, people start calling you and texting you. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hello, friend. Hi, guys. Hi. Sipping on that drink. That purple drink. Oh, man. Good stuff right there. It ain't purple drink. It's just drink. Oh, man. I don't understand it. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys are doing good, man. I hope everything's going your way. I hope you had a good week, man. I know I did. I mean, it was all right, I guess. I'm off on Friday today, you know, which is pretty dope. But yeah, I had a pretty good week, man. It was pretty chill. There was a lot of like weirdness to it. You know, it was weirdly too chill. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, like I think everybody's like has like a I don't know. Everybody has like their own shit going on. I noticed that. But yeah, it's been a pretty good week, and I hope you guys had a good week too. And I got I went out and hung out with some friends. And I've been just chilling. Sunday started it out pretty good. We did the Heavy Rollers podcast because that's usually when we record this every Sunday, and me and Steven and I recorded the podcast, and I came home and chilled. But before that, I went to church and everything. I still ain't been in jiu-jitsu, but I've definitely been just doing my thing, bro. Like it's always good to take breaks. That's what we talked about a couple weeks ago. But me, I'm just like it's between that and like it's like okay, you can go to jiu-jitsu, but you gotta pay your bills. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like today I just finished paying all my bills and I'm literally flat broke, man. But it's I don't have to worry about my lights getting turned off ever. I don't have to worry about my water getting shut off. And so that's good. That's a good thing. And I'm surviving, you know? I get to pretty much do whatever the hell I want most of the time. But I mean like if I did what I wanted, I'd make enough money on these podcasts and I would just go to jiu-jitsu 24/7. I mean, not really 24/7, but like at least 6 days a week. That's the goal. That's the goal. The goal is, and that's one thing I've always preached on this podcast. I preached on the other one. Always set yourself up for some good goals. Because I think that's one of the biggest components in life is to have some pretty cool fucking goals, man. And 1 second, something came unplugged over there, and I got to charge those headphones, and they came unplugged. That's my goal, to have something cool. That's something that works, right? That's my goal. I'm back. I had to go put my clothes in the dryer too, and my headphones came unplugged. Which not from here, but like from from the wall. I'm charging my Bluetooth headphones, one of my pairs, because I have to have Bluetooth headphones. Talk on the phone. I'm sorry to tell you, but I also had to put my clothes in the dryer and stuff like that. Because, gotta have clean clothes, especially for tonight. But anyway, like I was saying, goals. I think I was talking about goals. I was talking about goals in like 15 minutes. Literally. Yeah. That's what about goals. You know what I'm saying? But I always say that on this podcast, guys. Well, anyway, guys, I hope you guys are doing good, man. And I hope everything's going your way. I just, you know what I'm saying? I think, like setting goals is a good thing. But I really hope things are going y'all's way. I know it's starting a little slow right now. I need a cigarette and I need a beer. I don't got a beer. I got a mixed drink. I guess that's good enough. But it has vodka. Ooh. I'm like, I can't take it. But nah, it was pretty crazy though. But oh, damn, the devil's trying to get to me, man, because I quit smoking again. Of course, I just lit one up. You're like, yeah, you just lit a cigarette there. We heard it. But no, I quit smoking again, and I was doing good. And I have like only thing I like really when I start to have the cravings only start to hit when I'm alone at the home or I'm in my room or whatever late at night, and I'm like, oh my god. And so I go out and smoke a cigarette on the porch. Usually, I don't even take them to work with me. Because I usually have like those pouches or, my Zens, or I have like, I have this nicotineless vape. And it helps sometimes. It really does, especially late at night. You're like, I don't want to put a pouch Zen in because I'm about to fall asleep. And believe me, you do not want to fall asleep with a Zen in your mouth and wake up like when it's going halfway down your throat. You're like, you don't want to do that. I've done it a couple hundred times. It's not fun. So, and the throwing up process afterwards is really not the best either. Sometimes you don't throw up at all. You just feel nauseated, sick, and lightheaded. But so I was like, you know what? I'm just chilling, right? And I have two fanny packs. I have one from when I got from my work when I worked at Taco Bell last year, and I have one that I bought from Temu, which is the one I always use. And I saw that Taco Bell one. I wonder what's still in there. Because I remember the only thing I took out of it was my credit cards and everything. And I was like, and so I went through it. I found like $2 wrapped up in a pack of Newports, a half a pack of Newports. And I'm like, really? And I haven't opened up. I guess I haven't really used that fanny pack since like around my birthday, And I think I bought that pack around my birthday when because every time we drank, I want a cigarette afterwards, and because that's the only time I really like smoke cigarettes now is like late at night or after I have a couple beers or a couple dozen beers or whatever, and so I was like, damn, okay. I mean, they don't taste too bad. It's just, it's not a good habit. Like me and Steven were talking the other day I think it was on the podcast. I'm not sure. Sometimes I get our conversations mixed up because me and Steven's been busy and I've been busy, so we only see each other on Sundays now. And I was like, yo, Steven read something. He's like, Mountain Dew is like the cigarettes of soda. I'm like, you damn right it is, because at the moment it tastes good, but then you're going to regret it later. Especially someone like me that don't really smoke much no more or even drink sodas. Like, because I drank a Mountain Dew the other day when I was thinking about that. And I was like, man, you know what? I haven't had a soda in a couple weeks. Let me get me a soda. Well, I had one at, I guess, Sunday. I usually have a soda every Sunday sometimes. And that's after I go to church, after I, do the podcast, whatever. I might have me a little soda. And then I kind of feel nauseated and I regret having it. And that's kind of how I felt after I had that Mountain Dew. And that's probably how I'm going to feel after I have this cigarette, That's how you always feel like you have like a cigarette or a Mountain Dew or something like that, And but it's cool though. It's cool. It's cool. And like I had a Mountain Dew the podcast last week, and Steven's like, "That's not even a real soda," Like, yeah, I know. And apparently, he told me they didn't have none of those in California. I didn't know they didn't have Mountain Dew in California, or not Mountain Dew, but Big Red. I didn't know they didn't have Big Red in California. That's crazy. But apparently, it's a Texas thing, and I knew it was made here in Texas, but I didn't know it was like. Because I never really been a Big Red kind of guy, but I just seeing bottles everywhere. I'm like, I'm gonna have me a Big Red today, and so I was like, but I think Big Red and Mountain Dew both. Honestly, like you kind of regret it afterwards. What I'm saying? Especially when you're taking a dump, you're like, But anyway, where were we? But yeah, that's kind of like something we were talking about. I always get me and his conversations mixed up though. So I'm like, did I say that on the podcast? Because I told Steven something in the car that was confidential, and then we're driving, and then we do the podcast, and then I re-listen to the podcast. I'm like, I hope I didn't say that on the podcast, but that's how I get our conversations mixed up sometimes. because like I said, we're both busy men. So, we're both out here slanging the bang and doing our thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to work and I'm out here, doing my thing. I go to work too. I don't really consider it like how do I like my job is like really laid back, and like I have people at my job that are like leaving or quitting or whatever. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, I don't like working here," and I'm like, "What?" You know what I'm saying? Like what about? I was talking to my old coworkers last night, and when she came in the store, and I'm like, "What?" Like it wasn't that hard here, Like what are you talking about? Like I've worked in places where like you literally kind of step on eggshells around your bosses. Here, you at this job, I say here, I'm not even at work, but like at this job, you don't have to walk on eggshells around your bosses. You can wear sandals to work. You know, that's to me that's awesome. I can wear shorts to work. I can wear my sandals. I can wear a jujitsu t-shirt, and I'm good to go. You know, like to me that's easy work. That's chill. Yeah, you gotta put boxes. You gotta move boxes. You gotta put stuff on shelves. You gotta clean. Yeah, that's not hard. Hard work, me. No matter what you do, the the thing that makes your job hard is management, is your bosses. If you ever notice that, you have bosses, and it's not even no notes I've written down. I don't know why I'm talking about it, but you have bosses at your job that are completely rude, hateful. That makes work hard to me. You know what I'm saying? I've worked it, and believe me, I've mowed grass. I've I've sold drugs. I've washed cars for a living. I've done concrete. I've stained concrete. I've worked in fast food restaurants. I've worked in fucking 5-star restaurants. I've worked in I've been a line cook for a long time. I also worked in liquor stores. I've worked in an Office Depot. I've worked and now I'm working in a liquor store myself. I ain't gonna say the name of it because I don't want to put no badness on it because I cuss a lot and stuff, and everybody gets offended when I say something. But like I've done all kinds of work. I haven't bartended or nothing like that. That seems really hard for me. But I've done all kinds of work. I've been heavy lifting. I've done all kinds of stuff. I've done things that I've done jobs. You know what I'm saying? I've took my clothes off for money. I've slept with people's moms for money. I've done all kinds of work. And when you have a good management team or a good team of like leaders, you're like, okay, this is a good job. But once, like, a lot of people are like, I don't understand why he didn't want to work here. Or, like, I have a family member that has a business and I don't know, understand why I can't keep help. It's like, because you treat people like crap. Your job is fun, but you treat people like crap. You're having fun at the job, then all of a sudden you come in and start crapping on everybody. It's like, dude, I really don't want to be part of this. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's what makes the difference between a lot of like workplaces and not. And that's why like a lot of people are miserable at their workplaces because their leaders are not leaders, they're bosses. They're yelling at you, they're trying to tell you, yeah, you're supposed to tell someone what to do. Like, hey, Derek, I need you to get these boxes unloaded, man. I need you to clean this store up. I need you to stock these shelves. But they're nice about it. They're not like, hey, you piece of shit, why didn't you get this fucking done last night, you idiot? Like, and you're like, damn, because I've had jobs like that. I've had jobs like, when I worked at Storms and I talked about it 100 times, but like I remember when I worked there, saying like there was a lot of favorites chosen. There's a lot of people chosen. Oh, you're a favorite. You know what I'm saying? Let this little cute car hop do what the fuck she wants. But like, Derek, he has to take up her slack. And if he says something about it, he's gonna get written up. And because I would, me, I don't know how to keep my mouth shut. And so even if I do your job, I'm gonna be making comments the whole time. So like, there's a lot of times at Storms, like when the girl will be back there with the manager in the office, and I'm like out there working, doing all the orders, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Oh, Derek, why don't you get her tea for her? Because there was like these 5-gallon buckets of tea, and I'm like, no, she can get it. Like that's part of her job description. Oh, okay, you want to be like that? And we'll get it done. You're a jerk. You know what I'm saying? And Derek didn't want to do his job. Then they tell the big manager, Derek didn't want to do nothing last night. And you're like, dude, I did do stuff. I don't know why Gemini keeps coming on. I'm not saying nothing bad about the government phone. You don't have to come on and like record me. Thank you. Not yet, at least. But it's like, and that's how it goes though. A lot of times, a lot of these jobs are like that. They do choose favorites. Like my coworker said last night, she goes, "Oh, this job chooses favorites." I'm like, not really. Like the job I have now does not choose favorites, or I would not be even in the running. I'm telling you right now, because I'm a foul mouthed, fat, ugly piece of shit, and I go to work every day and I just tell jokes all day long. I'm just running my mouth all day long. If I'm there 8 hours, 7.5 hours of those time, I'm running my mouth. People want me to be in the store and I'm just walking around talking shit. Because, I'm just saying, so like, damn, this bottle right here, who would drink that? You know what I mean? Like, so, like, I like my job, but I like where I'm at right now in life. It's good for me to have, and it's good for someone like me to have like a chilled release because a lot of jobs I've had, like the job before that, Taco Bell. I'm not gonna say which location. I worked at two different locations, but I'm gonna tell you right now that manager was an asshole, and like and stuff like that. There was always some kind of drama, and I don't like that. Like that's not like why would I want to leave my house, the comfort of my room, the comfort of my home, the comfort of my kitchen, the comfort of my living room, the comfort of my TV, go somewhere and get treated like shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why that's where it goes with bad management. Like when I work with my family member, for instance, we'd work sometimes up to 13 to 17 hours a day, and we would work and we would work and work, and the whole time everybody else is drunk or everybody else is stoned, and then you're getting yelled at because you're not part of the crew of getting high and drunk. You understand? And like you're not part of the crew. Like you don't feel like. And then when everybody's working together, saying you make one mistake, it gets thrown up in your face like you're a piece of shit. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm a human being, and I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? So like, and that it goes to a lot of things in life. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, damn, I'm really miserable, and you keep on going back to that job because you want to give it more chances. You want to keep making money. You don't want to be unemployed. You're sitting out there like, dude, bro, like I don't want to be unemployed today. I don't want to be walking around town without a job looking for a job because the look for the job sucks. I know guys that don't even look for a job; they just sit at home because it sucks so bad looking for a job. And then you have to go work somewhere that's way below your fucking standards. And like a guy like me with a lot of skills, a lot of skill sets, and a lot of brains and smarts, I gotta like lower my standards a lot of times. Of course, in every job I've had to lower my standards. No offense, because I'm worth a lot. And in my head, but like, and that's the other thing too. Like people will literally like just go, you know what I mean? Like they won't work sometimes. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. If you got bills to pay and you a real one, you're like, oh, you know what? I gotta go work at McDonald's. I gotta go work at Taco Bell. This sucks. But at least till I find something way better, you know. But I'm really like I'm really not liking I just don't like when people like, I don't know how to explain it. But I like my job, man. I really do. I got told by one of my customers last night, which was crazy. He was like, man, in my job, we talk about you, man, because a lot of the people from his job will go into my job after work and get liquor. He goes, hey, man, you're like everybody's favorite. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, my personality. But that's one thing, too. Like, you gotta have a good personality. I think to work in the business I work in, but like, you can't like expect everything to go your way. Like, even though it is a laid back job, there's not a lot of things that go my way. There's not a lot of things that go anybody's way, not even the manager's way. But like the manager must listen. No, they don't. None of them listen to my podcast, so I'm happy about that. But no, like that's all. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I think what makes jobs harder is literally a lot of times, no matter what you're doing out there, you could be framing houses, which I think that's the hardest. I went and framed houses for one day with a friend of mine one time, like back in about 10, 15 years ago. And I'm telling you right now, that was hard work, and but it was fun because the management, the owner of the company was a really cool guy, and I was like, hell yeah, dude. And that goes for like when I used to do stone work too. I did some bricklaying work and also the guy did stone and concrete work. I went and helped him when I lived in Liberty Hill, and the guy was cool as fuck. And and he was not the best boss because like there was days like every Friday I got to ride around with him, and he'd go pay people and stuff like that, and he would he'd work for $100 a day, And Friday was the day I get to ride around with him because he's just one of the buddies to ride around with. I went with him to buy a boat one time, just stuff like that. It wouldn't even like work. A lot of times we were off on Fridays, but I would go ride around with him for $100 a day, and he'd buy a fucking 24-pack Coors Light, and we just ride around drinking all day, allegedly. But that's not much of a good work environment. But it was still cool because the management would treat the owner would treat you like with respect until he started stealing money, of course. But I went to work. But I've worked with so many people, and that's what I've noticed that all my jobs I've had since I'm 38 years old. Since I was, I worked with my grandpa from when I was 7 years old till I was 18, and then off and on in my 20s I go help him every once in a while. And I always helped him, even though he didn't pay me very much, was because he was my grandpa, and also because he treated me good. And that's where it boils down to. Was a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the way you treat people. You know what I mean? Like one of my family members was like, I don't know why I can't keep employees. It's like, because it's the way you treat people. You treated these people with crap and trashy, and now and now you wonder why you can't find employees. But then but then he's like, oh, fuck them. Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? They're all in their feelings. It's like, yeah, I'd be in my feelings too if I'm working my ass off and someone walks up and goes, you're a piece of shit. And you're like, oh, okay, wait a minute, what? I'm doing this for you, bro. You've been driving around doing, I don't know what you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? I went to Home Depot. No, you didn't. You're drunk. But that's just how that goes. I don't mean to hate on anybody, I'm just saying. But yeah, so I was talking to a coworker last night, and that's kind of like what I was thinking about. I was like, damn, well, maybe I guess everybody has different perspectives of life, but like my perspective of being treated bad at work is like, I guess, way above a lot of other people's because I've been, I'll get cussed out and everything else. And, it didn't matter. But yeah. Anyway, this would be a good part for an ad. Like, I wish I like as an old man, like I've been getting I get a lot of like Blue Chew ads. You ever notice that? It's like, oh, you like Blue Chew? I'm like, nah, it still works. I'm good. Even if your junk still works, try Blue Chew. It's like, no, that's not like a fear of mine. Like, one of my literally fears is to try Blue Chew and then get dependent on Blue Chew. Because, when you do drugs, your body gets dependent on those drugs. Like, if you take painkillers, all of a sudden every little pain now is a big pain. And it won't just go away because you're used to taking painkillers. Now, and also the generic Viagra commercials come on a lot too now. Like, I'm 38, bro. It still works. Believe me. Like, sometimes it fucking sucks. You be at work chilling and some customer lady comes in with a short skirt and bends over right in front of you. And then all of a sudden, you're wearing basketball shorts. So now you got to sit down or you got to freaking get behind the counter. You know what I mean? It happens. But, I'm just saying, guys know what I'm talking about. Apparently, I got a small woman's audience on this podcast too, and on the Heavy Rollers podcast too, which is pretty dope. I like that women listen, but I'm just saying. I had a woman hit me up the other day. That's why I'm doing the podcast today because I was thinking about shutting this one down again for a while, and then she's like, "Where's the Derrek Ribera show?" I don't know. I don't know where it's at, but it's like, bro. It's okay. It still works. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't have to convince anybody. Believe me. So, what? Anyway. But no, man. Like, I hate those commercials. But I hope in between this podcast they have an ad, a Blue Chew ad. Just like, Blue Chew! Because your dick don't work. But my biggest thing is like, what if you start taking Blue Chew every time before you have sex? And all of a sudden, one day you're out of Blue Chew. You're out, bro. I think that's just a male enhancement. I think it enhances everything else, too. But you get so dependent on it that one day you don't have no Blue Chew and you have some fine-ass little number over. You know what I'm saying? That woman you've been trying to holler. Like, what if I had that woman that like a light-skinned Puerto Rican woman, half black, half Puerto Rican woman that comes to my job. I've only seen her twice, man, but I've been trying to holler at her. And she came to the drive-thru, right? And what if I have her over finally? She talks with a little Spanish accent. Oh, my God. Oh, man. My favorite flavor. So anyway, I'm just saying. But what if I have her over and it just don't want to work no more because it's too dependent on Bluetooth and Viagra? That's all I'm saying, dude. And if your Johnson stops working, I think it's just time for you to give up. I don't know. I just don't like taking pills. That's all. That'd be my commercial for Bluetooth or Viagra. You know, just like, hey, don't do it because you're gonna get dependent on it, and your dick won't work. Like, oh, that's you're very good advertisement. Thanks, Derek. Like, yeah, you're welcome. Nah, man. Anyway, that'd be a good place for a commercial. That's all I'm saying. Man, what was I gonna say, bro? What was I gonna say? I know Halloween's coming up. You know, and like I remember as a kid, man, how much more fun Halloween is. I saw this video the other day. It's like, stop scaring them kids like that. These kids are good scared. No, keep scaring those kids like that. That's why they're soft. These children are soft, man. I have no respect for your children. They're soft. I remember when I was at working at IHOP, one of these women were like, well, little Timmy wants to be Snoopy for Halloween. What the fuck? Motherfucking son of a bitch. No, what? Viewer discretion is advised. No. No, he doesn't want to be Snoopy. I remember this one little kid was Snoopy for Halloween one time. He pissed me off and I punched him in the fucking nose. Punched him real fucking hard as I could. Touched my goddamn Freddy Krueger costume, you son of a bitch. I was a kid back then, too. I didn't just walk up and punch a little kid dressed like Snoopy, you know? Like, as a grown man. Wouldn't that be horrible? Like, some kid, people are trick-or-treating with their kid, and it's like a little 5-year-old dressed like Snoopy, and I walk up and just punch him as hard as I can. That'd be horrible. No, I don't hurt children. I don't think it's right. But I'm just saying, man. What if I'm just scary? You know? Just scared the shit out of people. That's what you did. My parents used to scare the shit out of me. You know? My parents would literally scare the fuck out of me. They didn't give a fuck. They dropped me off at a cemetery one time. You understand? My homegirl Deidre, her little sister, my brother Chris, and my brother Brandon were all dropped off at a cemetery. Okay? Abandoned little one in Cottonwood, mind you. But still, it was a little cemetery that was creepy as hell. You know? And they just left us. This wasn't even Halloween either. I think it was like Christmas or some shit. It was literally, like not even Halloween. And they drove off, laughing at us, drunk as shit. My brothers were crying. Everybody was crying but me. And the reason why I wasn't crying, because I had to be the leader, because I was the oldest one. Even though I wanted to cry, because I was scared to death. I wanted to piss my pants, but I didn't. And the reason why, because the whole time they were telling us stories about people getting grabbed. Like walking, if you walk over that grave, they might reach up and grab you. So you're like, oh, hope I ain't stepping on the grave. And you're like looking around, it's dark outside. It's like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. It's all getting misty outside. You know, fog. It was during the fall, but it wasn't Halloween. Because Halloween's when my brother Brandon fell off the back of the truck. Like a stupid ass motherfucker. God, he was stupid. He would always get hurt. Stupid, dude. I mean, I love the guy to death, but when he was a kid, he wasn't the smartest kid. That's all I'm trying to say. I wasn't either, but I wasn't going to sit on the tailgate of the truck. I thought I was cute. Look at me on the tailgate of the truck. You know? But those were good times. Those people that my parents hung out with loved Halloween. Halloween was a cool, a badass holiday. Not like Thanksgiving or Christmas. Crappy holidays. Like, if it were up to me, I wouldn't celebrate Christmas to save my life. Now, maybe Thanksgiving because there's food. You have a day off, you eat all day. That's kind of a fun holiday. I'm not thankful for shit. I don't know. I can't say that. I'm really thankful for a lot of things. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. like I don't like Halloween. I mean, I don't like it no more because you got to get candy to these little hateful ass children. I don't get candy shit. Like literally, I remember one time my roommates bought some candy, and they're like, "Well, can you get this out on Halloween if the kids show up?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." They left to go take their kids trick or treating. I ate all the candy. Yeah, I did. I ate all the candy because fuck those kids. That's why. Don't give a fuck. Knocking on the door, shit. I'm sitting there just letting them knock, walking by. You can see me through the glass door. I'm like, "What's up, guys?" Keep on walking by eating a Snickers bar. Give a fuck. I'm high. Like I ain't trying to give these damn kids. Fuck those kids, man. For real. Niggas ain't done shit in life. They want to tell you. They want to make you do something. You know? But like, and like Halloween was so much fun back then. Yes, you should scare your kids because that's the only day the adults, uncles and aunts and the parents can get back at how hateful those children are. You know? Those children thought they run the streets, but they don't. You know what I mean? And then like everybody said, they're gonna put THC candy in your kids' stuff. No, they're not. That shit's too expensive. You know, that shit's way too expensive, dude. It really is. It's not. It's not as good as you think it is. You know, so that THC is way too expensive to be given to these hateful, ungrateful ass kids. It really is. So like, and like, Derek, you stop hating on the children now, okay? I will. But I'm just saying, man, Halloween's coming up, man. Scare the shit out of your kids. Have fun with it, man. Be funny. Have good times. I remember when I was a kid, man. I don't know if everybody remembers Marble Falls back in the early 90s, but I remember behind the middle school in Marble Falls, this be like where you get the best candy back in the early 90s. I don't know if it still is. I mean, like I said, I haven't trick or treated in over like 20 some years. Like at least 30 years, actually, since I was like 8 years old, I guess, 8, 9 years old. But because that's kind of like where it gets boring anyway. Once you get a little older, I think last time I went, I was like 12. You know, and so it's been almost 30 years. And so I remember going back there when I was a little kid, and my parents, let us out of the car, where let us run up to the house, and you would run up to the house. There wasn't no walking, and you see little kids now just moping up there, walking, looking at their cell phones. That's not how it was back in the day. You would run up to the house. You wanted to get there before the other kids got there because the other kids will get the better candy. You know, so that's what I do. And I remember like there was this guy in a gorilla costume, and over the gorilla costume he had like a red dress, like a tranny red dress, like a prom dress, and he would chase little kids around. And I remember walking from a yard because I was like, "Yeah, I got me a Snickers bar." And that's back when the people sometimes would throw big, real Snickers bars, not these little fucking motherfuckers that you get in the little family pack now. No, some of these people will throw real Snickers bars. I remember walking back all happy, like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, that motherfucker in a gorilla costume jumped out of the fucking woods. And I ran, dude. And my mom and them were like 5 houses down. They drop you off and you just hit a bunch of houses and they just sit there. And I remember running, just screaming, going to my mom. That's Halloween. A guy in a gorilla costume with a dress on, chasing you, telling you, give me a smooch, is Halloween. To me, borderline harassment, but it's Halloween. You understand? Like, what people don't realize is that I, for one, am endorsing Halloween. And I'll probably talk about it in the next episode and the next episode. I think 2 more episodes, 2 more weeks is Halloween from today, Friday, October 17th. But it's just funny to me. To me, it's hilarious that people would get so scared about Halloween. And people, I don't know, my kids, man, you know what our Halloween costumes were back in the day? was a smelly ass mask. It wouldn't even like and your school clothes you wore to school that day. This was like on a Saturday or something. You had to wear like whatever you wore that day. But it was literally like your regular ass clothes, regular shoes. Sometimes like richer kids would get like a full costume. Like one year we got a full costume. I was like a stormtrooper, which you know what I'm saying. Like I don't understand that, but I was a stormtrooper, and there was a few times like I had like a black cloak. I remember one time and just a mask, and I wore that mask for 2 years, and it was a scary ass mask, and it smelled like rubber and plastic on the inside of it. It smelled like it smelled like chemicals that would kill you. And you'd put it on your face, and and all I had was like a black cloak, like a vampire cloak that I took from somebody, and I wrapped it around my whole body so you couldn't see the school clothes under it, and I'd get chased. You got chased down the road wearing it, and you go door to door asking for candy. I remember one time I went to a house out there, and I was probably that same year, and there was a guy sitting there, and he had like a Jason mask on and everything, and a machete in his hand, and he's just sitting there on a chair, and he was so still, you don't know if he's real or not. And when you get close to him, he's trying to grab you. Ah, shit. That's what you do. Running out of drink, some drink up in my cup, man, hold up. It's that big Mike with them strangles in my truck. Maybe expedition on my tuition. You know, I don't know how it goes. Got the drink in the kitchen, crack in the kitchen. What we miss? I don't know. Crack in the kitchen. Ain't no crack in my kitchen. It's in my bedroom. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, police. Police listening. But nah, man, like that was Halloween. Nowadays, you don't want to scare little Snoopy. And if you're just your kids that like Snoopy, don't get mad at me. I'm just saying that's a prime example. But that's like what I heard when I was working at IHOP one night. I heard two ladies talking. I was getting off work, and I was in there because I get off work at IHOP at like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and I go in there and eat. And there was two ladies in there talking. And sometimes that was during the day shift because on the weekends I work day shift. And these little ladies were talking like Halloween this year is going to be pretty crazy because I don't want little Timmy to dress up like scary because it scares him. And the other one's like, well, my son's going to be Hello Kitty. I'm like, your son's going to be Hello Kitty. And I'm sitting back here just I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I want to say something to them because they're raising their children to be sissies. Yes, it sucks when you scare them. Yes, they cry. Oh, who cares? Yeah, we cried when our parents scared us. I cried when my parents said, you're the reason why we're getting divorced because you're fat. I remember that. And I cried and cried, but guess what? It made me tougher. It made me stronger. It made me a man. And that's what it does. My mom never dressed me up like Hello Kitty. I was never Snoopy. I was never anything sissy. I just had one single mask that smelled like plastic and ether, and I would wear that son of a bitch. And I would walk down the road wearing this fucking mask where I can't hardly fucking breathe because for some reason the nose nostrils were way above your nose. And you're like, and you can't hardly breathe, and your mask is fogging up. But guess what? But you got a goddamn Snickers bar, a big one. And guess what? The world loved it, and you did too. And then you got chased by a man in a gorilla costume wearing a dress. That was Halloween. That was Halloween. That was fun. Because when I got home, there was no razor blades in my Snickers bar. And if there was, fuck it. It tastes good. If there was drugs in it, then I would learn my lesson. Okay? Yeah, there's cocaine a few times in it. But that's why I'm the guy I am today. Now, there was never cocaine in there. I'd be happy. I'm just saying. You know? When we were kids in 1992, when I was 5 years old, we were doing blow. No, I'm kidding. The good blow, too, before fentanyl took it over. That's the only reason why I'm drug free, I think. Some goddamn fentanyl. The other night, I almost died, by the way, of THC gummies. I told the story on the Heavy Rollers podcast. For those of y'all that don't listen, just so you know, do not buy convenience store THC gummies. Especially when they're 420 milligrams and you eat 2 of them. Okay? Don't eat 2 of them. That's 840 milligrams of fucking THC in your body. I was high the next day when I woke up. It was horrible, okay? I had I had went on a date before that, and I had slept with the woman. And let's just say my pull-out game ain't the strongest. Okay. And I started panicking about that when I got high. And the only way to get rid of it was stepping outside the door of my room. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm stepping outside my room and breathing. Because inside the room, I was having a panic attack, and I thought about having a family with this person. It was not fun. Should have took a blue chew, man. Oh, it's horrible. It's not fun, man. I don't know, man. And it's like it's just I don't know, man. It is what it is, bro. It honestly is. It's it's a continuous cycle of whimperness, but and like God, I hope no one puts that in their kids' candy. I think every year they always start that shit. I'm gonna put THC in your kids' candy. Yeah, they'll put some cocaine in there too. Put a little bit of speed in that motherfucker and see what happens. I'm just kidding. Don't put none of that stuff in there. If you want to put stuff in kids' candy, give it to me. We'll have a good time over here. I'm pretty sure. But no, man. It was like, but back in the day, I don't know, man. It's just so much different. And my parents, they had it even harder back than us. So, imagine the costumes they had to do and then how they got scared and how no one gave a shit because their parents were boomers. And, boomers don't give a shit. Well, you learned your lesson, didn't you? You're like, dude, I got shot 6 times. Well, that's what you get. At least you're alive. So, yeah, thanks, boomer. But that's how they are, too. They're, be tough. You're like, I am trying to be tough. So a car just ran me over. One time they ran me over in the car, and then they're like, oh, walk right, we'll take you to McDonald's. Oh, that's a George Lopez joke, but that really happened. They didn't really run me over, they like tapped me a little bit with the car. And I hit the ground, and I was like, oh, and I was like crying. They're like, yeah, my back. I think it's the original time I hurt my back. And they're like, just keep walking, you're good. It wasn't my parents, it was like, never mind, I ain't gonna say who it was. But like, still. Like that's what happens. They were raised by boomers. They got what they need. You know what I mean? So like when we coming up nowadays, for some reason, our generation, I don't know what's wrong with us, bro. Like we are. I think our generation is the worst generation of parents and uncles and aunts there ever has been. And let me explain before you get mad. Because we are so weak. We're weak. There's only a handful of guys I could name that do stuff with their kids. And all my friends. There's and I think I think that's successful parenting when you're after doing stuff with your kids, and I think that's dope as fuck. But what I think also is like when you baby your kids, it's kind of fucking gay, bro. Like, so I know a lot of people that baby their children, but the people that do stuff with their children don't baby their children. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people that have like I think one of the coolest things is like when someone brings their kids gets their kids involved with like jujitsu or or at the gym or whatever, like because it gives your kid a heavy mind frame. I wasn't involved with stuff like that when I was younger, so I went to do drugs and alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember the first time I got drunk, I was like 7 years old, 8 years old, and I was drunk as fuck. My parents were already passed out. And I remember going outside and throwing up. And that became my vice for a long time was alcohol, at least for 30 years. So it still is, honestly. I'm drinking right now. If that makes you feel any better, I'm drinking. I'm drinking right now. Some vodka, soda, club soda. You know what I'm saying? You get you some club soda, mix it with some vodka or tequila. It's pretty good. A little bit of a lime in there. When it's tequila, put a lime in there. When it's vodka, put a lemon. Pretty dope. Or sometimes I'll get like iced tea mixed vodka. Anyway, so no one knows I'm drinking. That's what I'm saying. But if my parents would have got me into jiu-jitsu, and I'm not saying they're wrong because they're busy. My mom was taking care of us. Like they worked her ass off, bro. You know, and my real dad, he was too busy taking care of another family. So, that's how it goes. But I think that But like, you know what I'm saying? And I think we're making them soft. At the same time, it's like Halloween is a time not to be soft. You know, don't dress your son up like Hello Kitty. Snoopy's more progressive than Hello Kitty. Don't dress your son up like Hello Kitty, even though how bad he wants it. Because that shit is gay, and I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm gonna laugh at you, bro. I'm gonna drive by smoking a cigarette with white powder all over my nose. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, just smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. And if I see you walking your son dressed like Hello Kitty, I am going to laugh and tell all my friends, and we're all going to laugh at you. Me and my friends are going to do like we did in high school and walk around and point and laugh at you. Well, actually, they all pointed and laughed at me. But look who's laughing now. I have no kids, and my kids ain't dressing like Hello Kitty. My son doesn't want to be Hello Kitty. Meow. I don't know. But yeah, I don't have no problem. I think it's a funny joke. I hope none of my friends' kids want to be Hello Kitty. That's what I hope right now. I don't know, man. Should I take that out? I don't want to. But I don't know. But you know, Halloween's just been gone downhill, man. I for one think it's the best holiday, even though it's a pagan holiday, and I'm a Christian. And yeah, and Christmas is too. Christmas is a pagan fucking holiday, bro. Jesus didn't celebrate Christmas. He never said anything about Christmas in the Bible. I don't even think he was even born in Christmas in the Bible. Easter is a pagan holiday. They're all pagan holidays, bro. If you're a pagan, then that's your shit, okay? But if as Christians, we shouldn't be celebrating this bullshit. But we do, and I like Halloween. If we're going to celebrate them, I like Halloween. I do. I like it. I like candy. I like women dressing up like skanks. That makes me happy. That makes me really happy. When I can go to a Halloween party and some 26-year-old slut is dressed up like a rabbit or something, I don't know what they're supposed to be. And they're like, oh my God, I'm a wicked witch. You're like, wow, you are a wicked witch. Come here. And that's what I like about Halloween. Now, back then I loved it because there was candy and you got chased by gorillas and stresses. You got beat up. You got shot at. Those were the good old days. I remember that one time we surrounded the ice cream truck and shook that motherfucker on Halloween. And he was like, hey! And we're checking the ice cream truck, man, because fuck you. That's why. You want to fuck with us, man? You want to charge me $2 for a SpongeBob ice cream, dog? Got you, Holmes. Fucker. Don't mess with me, man. Or my ice cream during Halloween. And that's another good thing about this, like living in Texas around Halloween. Like right now, it's like literally 90 degrees outside. That's why you still hear the air conditioner going. It's 90 degrees outside in October. It's no longer cold. It's no longer cold. It'll be cold like next month. That's when electric bills will go up too. Like, oh God, I paid all my bills already. It sucks. But my whole point of view is like, man, make it scary. Let it be what it's about. Don't stop this sissified shit. Stop it. Stop it. Okay? Speaking of children, my friend, he was talking the other day. He goes, my daughter, he has an 18-year-old daughter. And she came home and she was asking about 9/11. Because they talked about 9/11 at her school. And I don't know if I talked about this on the last podcast or not, but I don't know. But all I know is they were told what we were told in school. You know what I'm saying? Teachers, but these teachers, they have to live and they have to talk about this. They have to lie to your kids. You think I think we should all start or everybody should start homeschooling their kids. And I'd help you. I'd be the fucking, I'd be the history teacher. Learn the history of Mr. Ribera. That's what we call it. Wow, my phone just literally came on. And Jim and I came back on, hey, stop. I'm not talking about the government yet. Stop it. What is this? Dude, why does it keep doing that? Anyway, my phone's bugged. Here we go. My phone's bugged. So anyway, 9/11, where were we? The teachers are paid to lie. The real history behind a lot of things. We're not going to get into it. Oh, yes, we are. Fuck it. Let's do it. This is for my viewers, man. The schools lie about history. They always have. Like World War II, World War One, the Civil War. All of it is all a lie. You know? The Texas Revolution was a lie. When Texas took itself back from Mexico, that was all because, they said they're treating Americans bad. They really weren't. I guess they weren't. I don't know. But I do know, I didn't look into that one very much, but I do know it's a big lie and how America just wanted more land. I know that. Remember the Alamo? It's all right. They lost the Battle of Alamo, by the way. And I love America, so I ain't gonna talk shit about it. But all I was saying is like at 9/11, they lied to this kid. They told him that first thing they told us as it happened. They were jealous of our freedom. It was Muslims. It was not the Jews. Yeah, definitely not that. But I think in order to have more research on something, nowadays the best part about having the internet, and the internet has been evil, but it's also been good. It's like an anti-hero in a way. Because it will save you from being stupid. But it's not going to save you from whatever this is. It's going to save you from listen to stupid shit. Cause to me, I'm so surprised that the schools are still telling these children that this is what this is what happened. I'm surprised. I am so surprised. That's why, I all my friends are like one of my friends is like, should I homeschool my kids? And I was like, yeah, you should. I'll be the history teacher. History with Derrek Ribera. I will tell your kids what really happened between 9/11. I'll tell your kids about the Israeli art students that were dancing and recorded it as it happened and laughing. I will tell you about how the Building 7 looked like a demolition, like from hell, bro. And how the plane supposedly heading towards the Pentagon, how somehow this plane evaporated with all the people on it when it hit the Pentagon. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how no camera got a good view of it around the Pentagon. We'll talk about how all the documents in the Pentagon that were supposed to be researched the day before, all of a sudden, and the insurance they got on it the day before, all of a sudden cannot get researched no more. We'll dig deep. But that's just what I'm yeah, you should scare your kids on Halloween, and yeah, you should also tell them the truth of the world. I don't know if I want my son to know that this happened and this happened. Good, let them be stupid. Because I've met people out there that still believe that. They are stupid. Maybe they could be a police officer. That'd be a good career for them if you're stupid. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't want to go to jail. God forbid. I think I still got warrants out there. Let them be something. Let them think that. Because ignorance is bliss. Because golly, as soon as you start digging deep, man, it's like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know how you live your life without getting high or drunk all the time. Because you're when you see reality, it's like, oh, But at the same time, it's like, bro, we cannot continue to lie to these people in school. They're like this is our future. Why are you lying to the future? That's my message to all the teachers. I want to get on stage during graduation. And I want to talk to these teachers. I want to say, hey, why are you lying to these children? These babies are going into the world thinking that everything's okay, and oh my God, because that's what we did. Believe me, when I was 18 years old, I remember standing on a picnic table, preaching to my friends, high on coke, fucking smoking cigarettes, screaming about how great George Bush was for fucking fighting the Iraqis that weren't even involved in 9/11, by the way. Taking down Saddam Hussein, that was the greatest thing ever. We put him in power. God. But that's how it goes. You know? I know one day I'm going to wake up and they're going to be downloading stuff on my computer. FBI agents will gun to my head. Saying it's going to be a suicide. But I'm not suicidal. I joke about it, but I'm not. But that's all I'm saying, man. Why lie to these children? I think, like, and they don't even teach you rightful stuff in school anyway. You don't learn how to do your taxes. You're not learning how to do your taxes. They're not teaching you how to do your taxes in school. They're not teaching you. They teach you how to type on a computer. That's a class. Typing on a computer. Algebra. Have I used algebra in my class, in my day-to-day life, as a liquor store worker, as a construction worker? Well, they did measurements and stuff. Yes, yes. But my uncle does concrete. He never went to school. He can't read. And somehow he makes perfect slabs. I know people that work on ranches. They don't need algebra when they're running cattle. You know, like do you like think about it. Now, I'll look at the architects and stuff. Yes, you need algebra. You need all that crap, but and all that stuff is useful. But beyond a certain point, when was biology useful? When was chemistry useful? Well, unless you're a meth cook down the road over there, then I guess that's pretty damn useful. But we have a bunch of those and a bunch of chemists out here. They don't have Harvard degrees, but they are chemists. What happened there? But and that's what I'm saying. Well, why are you lying to these children? And like that blew my mind. Like when my buddy told me what she told him, he kind of explained it to her what really happened. But like she can't go to school and tell them because they're going to look at her as a psychopath. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. The simple fact is how it all starts. Because you start school, you're 5 years old, 4, 5, 6 years old. That's when your brain's still developing. They start to tell you stuff. Like I remember in first grade. First of all, first grade sucked because I had spiky hair first, and that cute boy got spiky hair, and all the girls liked him. But anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're not going to talk about Anthony with his spiky hair. And because Derrek had it a week before, and everybody thought it was ugly, then when he got it, everybody thought it was hot and awesome and cool. I had a skateboard too. But anyway, I was too fat for the skateboard. But anyway, trauma alert. Another thing we're going to talk about. But they started to tell us that other countries hated us because why do other countries hate America, you ask, as a first grader? Because they're jealous of all the wars we won. We won this war against the Chinese, the Japanese, the Vietnamese, the Nieses. The Nazis. You know, we even beat England. Somehow the IRS is still owned by England, and somehow we still have to pay into the IRS, and somehow, I don't know, somehow we're like trillions of billions of dollars of debt, and they want to give me a credit score. Oh, your credit score is 680. Sorry, you're not good enough. Oh, I'm not good enough? He's own trillions of dollars. But anyway, they want to do that. And they will start teaching you that. And you start to believe that. And yeah, I believed it, bro. I believed that we were the best country in the world. It wasn't until I was like 20 years old I started to realize this was a scam. Not our country, perhaps, but all the things they told us was a lie. Our politicians were all crooked. They were all messed up. And it blew my mind. It hurt my feelings. Because even like around 9/11, like everybody questioned it. And I started to kind of question it too, but I didn't want to question it too hard because I was like, no, he couldn't do that to his own people. He couldn't authorize that. He couldn't authorize that. Not George Bush. Not George W. That's my man. You know, he's not a punk. You know? And that's what you kind of start to think. But once you open your eyes, and thanks to the internet, a lot of people are opening their eyes now. You know, and it really sucks. Like a lot of guys that supported Trump are like going, "Oh no," and I was one of them. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, you know what? Maybe he is gonna change things because he was talking like he was saying some things that spoke to me. Like he's like, you know, he was like God first, you know, America, blah blah. And now he's like, I'm going to hell, and you're like, oh no, you sold your soul. It's backfired on you now because now everybody sees that you sold your soul, and you're on your knees over in Israel. You're kissing the wall. You're wearing a funny little bra hat. You're on your knees in front of Benjamin Netanyahu with your mouth wide open, wanting to get to every last drop. And it's like, damn. And now your daughter's a Jew. You know, it's like, and people are still believing in this guy. I saw someone post something, and I was like, they really want a dictatorship because someone posted Trump 2024, Trump Jr. 2028, the kid Trump 2020, or what was it, 2028, then 2032 or some shit. It's like, oh, or 2034. And you're like, oh, okay, y'all want a dictatorship. And I'm not no fucking liberal. I'm not no pussy ass liberal, you know, suck a dick. No, that's not me. But I'm like, damn, bro, what did we do? But would have been any better if Kamala Harris came in? There's a little female tell me what to do. I'm kidding. But no, like, I'm kidding. Uh, it would have been any better to we kissing the Ukraine's ass. I see that all these politicians are all bought out. Well, no, Derek, they're not. Well, look at how many of them have dual citizenship with Israel. You know? They don't talk about that in school. They're not telling your kid about that. They're not telling your son that, you know, they all have dual citizenship with Israel. What's really going on? You know? I think they're going to shut us down. The government shut down, or was shut down. I don't know if it still is. I kind of took a break from looking at all that. But Israel's still getting paid. Bastrop in Austin, Travis County and Bastrop County, I think, somewhere out that way, here in Texas, we're wanting to had to send billions of dollars to Israel because it's the law. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Someone told me this. And they said, what about our people? What about us keeping this money here for us to help build our roads? To help keep our kids in school, to help our kids in school. But no, that's against the law. You need to send all this money to Israel. It's not good. They're not teaching that in school. They're not teaching that in school. You know, they're really not. But anyway, um, but yeah, and meanwhile, and I say this 100 times, the media is feminizing men. The media, like to me, it's crazy how like roles have switched nowadays. Because nowadays, I follow Bell County mugshots, and there's mostly women on there get arrested. Back in the '90s, there's mostly men get arrested. You ever remember that? Remember back in the day when your dad went to jail? You know when your dad went to jail and you were kind of sad. Like 10 cops in the yard. I know that's what happened to my dad. You know, my stepdad. He went to jail. And you know, never imagine your mom going to jail. Now you see a single dad. You're like, hey, where's the mom? And say, oh, she's in jail. Damn, bro, these women are becoming thugs out here. You know, and I'm kind of get off the Israel subject and all that. I don't want to get into it, but because we've been here all day. But the next thing I had written down is like, be a man. I don't know why I written that down. I wrote it down like 3 weeks ago, but I guess I just want people to be men. You know, like, and as a man, before I leave, I'm gonna talk about a few more things, but like, I definitely want to get into another commercial, by the way, and another ad. I think I'm gonna do an ad right now. Okay, guys, this ad is because, of course, the Heavy Rollers Podcast. Check out the Heavy Rollers Podcast, guys. That's where more of my shenanigans are going on. Also, I'm teamed up with my buddy Steven, one of my favorite rolling partners, dude from the gym I met. I met Steven about 2 years ago now. Didn't really talk to him very much at first. At first, I ain't gonna lie, like when I first saw him, I was like, dude, they're gonna pin me against that guy. I know they are. Because, in every jiu-jitsu gym, you roll at the end of each class, which that's my favorite part of the class. I miss jiu-jitsu so much, man. I really fucking do. I miss going in there, and like, even though my favorite part of the class is when Jesse or Mario or one of the guys say, "Hey guys, hey, let's get some water, let's get some rolls in." They're like, "Fuck yeah!" And I always knew they were going to pin me against Steven at first, and I was terrified. I go like, this guy's young, he's strong, he's big, and he moves really good for a bigger dude. And I'm sitting here like, oh no. And back then he was a white belt too, and I was just starting, and he was about to be a blue belt. And I was just like, oh god. And of course, one of the first things he did, hey, Eric Stevens, damn it. So, but anyway, I became friends with the dude, and I didn't ever think I was going to do a podcast with that guy, and I don't think he ever thought he's going to do a podcast with me. But but anyway, the Heavy Rollers was made. Intentionally, we finally started like last year, but or almost a year now. We started like back in December, like I think right before Christmas or right after Christmas. It was around that time. Anyway, and guys, if you want to check out a really cool podcast, really uprising podcast, a really good one, a really fun one, definitely check out the Heavy Rollers Podcast. It's where men can be men. We just chill talk. Sometimes we're drinking beer, sometimes we're drinking soda, sometimes we're drinking mixed drinks, or sometimes we're just having a good time. Sometimes, Steven's always giving me hell about my sins being 3%, like unlike his are like 9 or 20% or whatever he does, nicotine, however much nicotine he does, And I had quit the monsters. He kind of gives me hell about that sometimes, but it's pretty funny. And we also got t-shirts, man. So definitely check out the t-shirts. Well, the Heavy Rollers t-shirts. You can hit us up on the Instagram for that. And the Instagram is heavy_rollers_podcast. It's all one word and man, you would not be disappointed. I'm telling you right now, if you listen to that podcast, you won't be disappointed. And it's just us being us, man. And pretty much it's like this podcast with a co-host. That's all it really is. I'm not as hard. I don't really talk about, politics as much, but I haven't really been talking about politics much on this podcast either lately. But yeah, and I really want to get you guys to check that out. I got my Heavy Roller shirt on right now, actually. But it's pretty dope. I love it. I love the shirts. I love the feel of it. And I just love doing the podcast. You know what I'm saying? I think one of my favorite things to do, I really look forward to that every Sunday. You go to church, you get done with church, you go do the podcast, you know what I mean? It's just a good time. You know what I mean? And I really want to get some rolls in between that too. But, that will come in time, I will be back to the gym as soon as I can. As soon as I get everything situated out here in this world. But anyway, I want to talk about being a man. A lot of us get confused about what really is a man. A lot of people say it's okay to be weak. It's okay. Hey, it's okay to be sensitive. In a way, yes. In a way, no. And the reason why I say this, you can be sensitive towards your children, towards your nephews and nieces. I mean, don't cry in front of them like a little bitch because they're gonna think of you as a bitch for the rest of your life. But as a man, you got to realize one thing, man. And I've realized this: no one cares. No one gives a shit. No one cares that you are a man. No one cares that you face bullshit every fucking day. God damn it. You know? And it's like every day. And as men, we feel beaten down. We feel weak. No one's coming to save you, dog. And that's one thing I've had to realize. Like, when I was younger, I was thinking I'd be like suffering or whatever. And I'd be in my room. And I'm like, man, no one wants me, blah, blah. And then I'm like thinking, man, I just wish someone would come save me. I wish one of my friends would come and save me. I wish someone I love would come and save me. I wish my mom would come save me. I wish my dad would come save me. I wish, someone would come save me. No. I'm glad they didn't. Who's going to be there for me at the end? Me. That's what you got to realize. You got to realize as a man, especially if you're single and stuff, you got to realize, like, hey, man, I'm facing this war by myself. But you can't back down. That's the hardest part, is not backing down. There's many times like you know what I'm saying, like you go through a lot of things, like as men we go through a lot of shit. You don't expect your woman to understand what you're going through. Don't expect anybody to understand. Like I used to be in love with this one woman, and I was like, I don't know why she's doing this to me. She says she loved me. Come on. Stop being a simp and grow the fuck up, dude. And that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like, it's like nothing in this world is catered to you if you're a man. I remember a long time ago, one of my best friends and his wife took my dog in because I had no place to have her, but they were going to hold her till I found a job and I found a place. My buddy, he never pushed the subject because it went a year with me trying to find a place, me trying to get going. And it was hard. I had to find a job that I also, where I was living, I had to pay bills. I also had to pay for my own food. I also had to help out with gas and stuff. And I had all these other expenses I had to do. And my friend, my homeboy, I said, I'm so sorry, bro. It's taking for long. He's like, hey, it's okay. I understand. Because he was paying his own bills too. He said, you're paying bills. You got stuff to do. I had rent alone was $900. And that's a lot, you know what I'm saying? And then you got to pay other bills. Then you got to make sure you eat every day. Then you got to make sure, then I had to send them money for my dog because, she had to eat too. And then I had to send them money for her shots. And I had to send them, then I had to do all this other stuff. And then I had to turn around and help the people I was living with, with bills and also with groceries. And also when I wanted something to eat, when everybody else already had eaten, I had to eat on my own. And I had to buy my own food. I'm a grown man. I had to do all this stuff. And so I had to take care of my stuff. So I'm trying to get on my feet at the same time. And then my buddy's wife's like, you need to hurry up. What's so hard about finding a place to live? Every place is charging $1,000 a month, and then they want you to, then they want you to pay 3 times the rent. But at the same time, you got to start be saving for your 3 times the rent. And sometimes you got to be saving, but you also got to help with the electric bill over here. And you also got to help with your rent over here. You also got to help with your water bill over here. Oh, by the way, you got to also help with the food because you're eating a lot of food. And so it's keeps on going on. And also you got to help for transportation to get you to work. And also you got to help, for whatever you had to do. And living expenses. And she said, I don't understand. I'm like, okay. And I'm not saying this person never paid bills. But what I'm saying is you have a man helping you pay bills. And all you have to do is spread your legs. I can't just spread my legs and have someone help me pay my bills. So, I can if I was a faggot. But what I'm saying is people are not going to understand your struggle. Especially as you're a man, they're not going to feel sorry for you. I got another homegirl. She will sit there and be in public, talk about their business and their problems. People are like, oh, you poor girl, you got this. Or here's something free. If I start talking about my problems, nigga, good job. Fuck you think you are, bruh? Oh, nothing. I didn't know. You know what I mean? And like, and that's how it goes as a man. And I'm not saying men have it harder. I don't know if men have it harder. I don't know if women have it harder. I don't know. I don't know how women have it. I'm not a woman. Never been a woman. Yeah, I've seen my mom struggle growing up. You know what I mean? And I know it's a struggle. But everybody struggles. But like men will understand men more than men. I feel like my best friend, he was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." He's like, "Man, I know you got this." And finally, I got fed up. I was like, "Just give the dog a new home." You know, because I knew I had to give up something, and that's when you know, like every man has been at rock bottom where they had to give up a lot of things. I'm not saying women haven't, but I'm saying there's like a lot of men had to give up a lot of things they love. I've seen men give up their families because their woman was not in love with them no more, even though they still loved her. You know, I've seen this. This is what men go through. Men are not just going to sit here and tell you and we're not going to tell you our problems because we know no one cares. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have financial problems. Yeah, I just paid all my bills, but I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? And so like when and I can say that, and I don't want a handout. I kind of say that as I'm bragging. Like, yeah, I can go home, and I know damn well nothing's going to get turned off. You know what I'm saying? Unless something happens down the road, they cut electric line or something. But I know I have security because that's my priority. You know, I spent my last $300 on an electric bill, but I know when I get home, I'm going to have the air conditioner going. I'm going to have the lights on. So that's priorities. Men have to have priorities. You know, and I know a lot of women out there that don't work and always have the electric on. And I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a guy or two out there that has the same kind of because you'll every once in a while you'll find a good person that'll take care of you. Because that's all men. Like the crazy thing about men is like we'll take care of you like financially, but you got to take care of us mentally, physically. They're like, well, I'm not here to take care of a child. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. The problem right nowadays is that you want the man to come in and pay for everything. But you don't want that. You don't want that nigga to freaking, like get up and do something. You know, like you don't want him to like feel emotionally tired. Because when he's emotionally tired, oh, he's cranky, he's mad, he's pissed off. But like nobody for men, there is no handouts unless he's not a man. There is no handouts. You might have your mom help you. I mean, my parents are helping me quite a bit, but I'm helping them too. There's not any time you got to stay focused. You got to be a go getter. And also, the best thing about men is that you can surround yourself by other go getters, and you become better. You know what I mean? I no longer want to do drugs because I surrounded myself by good people, by going to jujitsu. You know what I'm saying, or getting a job where people are cool. You know what I mean, or you know what I'm saying, talking to people like that I met through the Heavy Rollers podcast and also through this podcast that are also going through what I went through, or also going through it, or also that are also doing the same, doing jujitsu. The jujitsu community has helped me a lot, and they don't even know it. It's not even financially. They helped me mentally, and that's one thing about a man is he has to have a good mental headspace. That's why it's always good for men to set goals. It's always good for men to have prior experiences. It's always good for men to try things. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Every once in a while it's cool to sit around and play video games, I guess. But, like, if you're a man, you know that's not your whole life. And I wish I could. I wish I could sit around and smoke weed all day like I used to and, you know what I'm saying, sleep all day. I can't. Even on my day off, I'm doing shit. Even on my day off, I'm trying to stay busy. Even on my day off. And that keeps me from getting depressed. It keeps me being sad because no one cares when a man's sad. I can post them on Facebook being sad, and people are going to fucking get over it. Or what's wrong with you? Or God, Derrek's on one again. But let a female post that. And I'm not trying to hate, but let a female say I'm sad. Girl, it's okay. It's okay here. Even guys are jumping in there. It's going to be all right. You're a good woman. You're a good woman. You could do this without him. It's always without him. But he's over there about to blow his fucking brains out. And no one cares. That's what I'm trying to say. You know? And like, but that's the way it is. And everybody expects you to be like that coal miner in 1945 or something, out there working your ass off and killing yourself. But no. Don't say nothing about it. That's what it's like being a man. Think about that. Think about expecting to be the strongest thing in the world. But you gotta work your ass off. But at the same time, if that woman wants a new man, guess what? She has every right to leave you because you're a piece of shit. Why are you a piece of shit? Because you didn't have enough time for her. You know? That's just my point of view. That's why I surround myself by good people. Because as a man, it's important to surround yourself by good people. I talk to good people every day. You know, that's why I became friends with someone like Steven. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Steven's a good dude. You know, and we do a podcast together. That's like one of the highlights of my week sometimes. Because it's like, you know, we're going to get this podcast out. We're going to have a good time. And and people are going to enjoy it. And I love when people enjoy the podcast, you know. And like another thing is like when you're a man that goes with the flow, that's when you're also a problem. There's a few of us out there, we don't go with the flow. You know, and we're called difficult and different, but at the same time, it's like, you know, we all know that going with the flow is just too easy. You got to do the hard work. When you go with the flow, you're pretty much heading towards hell. But when you go against that current, you keep on swimming, by the time you get to clearer water, it's going to be heaven. I promise you that, man. I know it. I've been swimming against the current all my life. My soul is mentally strong. You know, and as a man, that's good. Because they don't understand. There's like one of my friends, man, she was like one day just talking in front of the convenience store to another girl, and they're talking about their struggles and it's how hard they have it and how this and that and this and that. And it's like, oh, you have it really hard, huh? And I'm just thinking like, dude, that's nothing. I got to take care of the kids all day. Oh, that's horrible. But and that's hard work. I'm not going to say taking care of kids ain't easy. It's not easy. And having your job is not easy. But like being a man is to the point where it's like, you're not going to get no special privileges either. Like people want to talk good to you, but you know, like I know it's like at my job, and I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but at my job, I work with a lot of women, and a lot of the guys come in there and they'll like if they tip you, they'll tip me $1, they're going to tip them like 5. You feel me? So it's like just because you know they're women, and that's understandable. I don't care. That's why I have a better personality and I'm smart as fuck. But I think every man that's been through struggle also is building himself as something great. You know, and like a guy like me that's been through it, I'm gonna be great. You know, I'm gonna be one of the greatest, and like and every guy that goes to that, no matter what you do, like at the end of the day, like you know, people are gonna recognize how great you are. People are gonna like, damn, dude, like yeah, he had a hard life, but you know what? He's a good man. Like all these really bad men, you ever notice they never had good lives? They had it easy. That's why you get on the internet now and you see every female, and I'm not trying to hate on women, but every female shaking their ass and shit, and then you know, and everybody's showing them nothing but love. Then you see a podcast like me and Stevens, or this one, or like you know, a lot of guy podcasts that were not famous before. And I'm not trying to hate on any people that were like you know that were doing stuff before and collected a following, but I wasn't doing nothing before the podcast, so I'm still trying to build myself. But even Joe Rogan had hard times at first, you know what I'm saying? So like even the first like maybe 5 to 10 years of the Joe Rogan podcast, he wasn't that famous. And he was a famous person before that. But like you know, I'm not saying women podcasts, but like women can get on OnlyFans and have 10,000 followers, and like you know in 3 months, when I'm still a year in of with a podcast with Steven, and like think about that. If there was 2 women that did jujitsu, that are even heavy set, like you know, and they decided to do an OnlyFans, they would have 10 times the followers Steven's the 10 times the followers that me and Steven do, or Steven and I do. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody cares. No one gives a fuck about the truth. No one gives a fuck about, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a man, you got to work for it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. And I understand. Like, I would rather, instead of listening to me and Steven, yeah, I'd rather watch a freaking chick play with her bean, flick her bean for a while. Like, I guess. I mean, I never seen OnlyFans, but I'm assuming that's what they do. And I could say that with confidence. I've never paid for an OnlyFans or seen an OnlyFans just because I don't support that kind of content. And also because I'm jealous. I'm really, I ain't gonna lie. Because I'm really having the grind out here. And if I miss a couple weeks on the podcast, guess what? I lose a lot of listeners. And I know that this one ain't going to get very many listens. Not as much as the last one did or the one before. Not as much as the heavy rollers. But even then, you know, like, it is what it is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But as men, that's how we have to think. It is what it is. Got to keep on grinding. You know what I'm saying? There was literally people in coal mines dying years ago, you know? And they expect you to be tough like those guys, but also just recognize that you're not number one. And yeah, as men, we're supposed to accept the fact that our government has failed us. The females are out, our wives and daughters are out fucking everything that moves. But guess what? You're the bad guy. That's the way it goes. You know, like, that's the way it goes. And if you and God forbid, if you ever try to live a life and you say something about it, where you saying stuff about it, like Andrew Tate, for instance, you're a misogynist. And now he's feeding into the misogyny shit, or he always has been. But he's kind of an idiot too. But I like that dude a little bit. But you just gotta realize no one's here to save you. You know? And I know it's a bad message and it's negative, but it's true. Sometimes the truth is negative. That's another thing. If you tell the truth, you're negative. So why not just tell the truth? Why are you speaking negativity all the time, Derek? Because it's the truth. It's not fake. You know? None of this is fake. None of this is bad. I gotta take a leak. No. I'm back. But no, you're not supposed to be, having handouts when you're a man. Yeah, there's a few handouts. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna contradict myself because there's a few times you get handouts. Saying like maybe you get a ride to work or maybe saying something like that. But it's never gonna be a simple fact that don't expect handouts. Don't expect someone to come to your rescue. Don't expect to be going down the road and let's say you're on fire. No one's gonna come save you. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, no one wants to hear how you have a. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear how you had a bad day. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's someone just listening, saying, you know what, man, you did a good job. Here's a hug. Like a lot of men never receive flowers. They're flowers in their whole entire life. I never have. I never had anybody tell me that I'm doing great or thank you, Derek, for helping me out. I've had I helped one of my buddies out the other day, and he said thank you. And it amazed me. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, what? I was clueless for a whole minute. I'm like, dude, why did he just thank me for that? Why did he thank me? That's crazy. Because seriously, that's not the only thing I want to be and I don't expect praise from everybody. There are a lot of guys out there do. What about me? What about me? Real men don't do that either. I just when I do my job, I just do my job. Like at work, if people post in the group chat what they did today, I don't do all that. they have a thing at work where like like when you do a chore at work, you put your initials. I don't do that. I'm a man. I don't need recognition. Just know when you come in after me, it's gonna be done. Or if I do something, I don't need recognition from anybody. I don't really care. And that's why no one gives me my flowers. But at the same time, it's like I kind of want that sometimes. But at the same time, it's kind of like, damn, bro. Like as men, we don't ever receive that. No one of us ever received like a pat on the back where it says, "Hey, bro, our dads didn't do it." You know, what I'm saying our moms didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like I just like at home sometimes here. My mom will come home and I clean the kitchen. And before she comes home and she's like, "Who cleaned the kitchen?" I'm like, did you? And I was like, yeah. Oh, okay, that's so awesome, blah, blah. If the other ones do that, like, look what I did. Look what I did. I don't care. But that's the way it goes, though, man. I think as men, like, we can't expect anybody to save us, man. And that's what, like, and that's a mind frame. That's a thing to think about it. Like, no one's going to save me, so I got to do it myself. No, like, and yeah, like, I have had plenty of people save me, which is weird. But they don't know they have. Like it's really weird. Like going to jujitsu, for instance, they don't know that by taking me to jujitsu that day, they saved me. They saved me from a horrible day. You know, because now no matter what, I'm going to be in a good mood because that morning or that afternoon, I got to I got to roll with some people, got to have some good times, got to laugh, got to learn a new skill. You know, and it's like, damn, that's pretty awesome. And that goes for anything that us men do. You know, a lot of guys do other things, like the last episode, Steven was talking about paintball. Like after doing that, he probably had a great time. And you're like, hell yeah, dude! Like it speaks to our instincts. Like was a lot of men still have a lot of caveman instincts where it's like we like to go to war. Like me, I love to fight. Always have, always will. I don't like hurting people, which is weird because I'll fight you, but then I'll go easy on you just because of the sport of the fight. And like I know I have like there's a lot of good guys out there. Have you noticed like you can talk to like a lot of UFC fighters. But it's not Sean Strickland. He's kind of a dick. But I mean he's funny, but he's a dick. But like you can talk like a lot of guys are good guys. They're genuinely good guys. They're like but they just like a little bit of violence. And that's the way it goes. You know, and like one of my friends, she's like, I don't understand why you like watching that shit. I said, well, because it's fun. It makes me happy, you know. And it's like and that's also why like when a man's really good is when he loses something and it's hard for him to move on. You know, it's kind of weird, I think, because I remember like growing up, I never understood that. I never understood love. I never understood nothing like that. And I remember the first time I fell in love, it was like by far the most devastating thing in the world. And I thought to my head, I don't ever want this to happen again. And it didn't for a long time. Like I just like slept around, or I wouldn't sleep with anybody at all, or I just sleep around, and I never really had much women in my life. And then when I got a little older, I got with one and another one and another one and another one. It's not like I haven't been getting mine, but at the same time, it's not like I've been like actually falling attached to anybody either. But like I've only fallen in love 3 times in my life, and every one of them did the same thing to me. And like the last one really showed me that no one's going to save you, Derek. No one cares that you're heartbroken. No one cares that you're walking through life like alone now because you had plans. Like the only time I ever thought about being a family man was with this last woman I was in love with, and I was like, damn, I think it's going to happen for me. And I guess I'm going to be like everybody else. And I settled with that. But I'm kind of glad it didn't. Thank God, because that would have sucked. But there's those of us that realize we're not going to be saved, and that's when I realized with that last woman. Like I remember sitting in my room in Killeen, Texas, and I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, bro. And I had like a whole bottle of Crown almost halfway down, bro, because I just found out that it was never going to be me, and I'm going, no one's going to save me from this. Because all my friends I try to reach out to and talk to, the only one that would have talked to me At that time, it just passed away. And I tried to reach out to my other friends, and they was like they kind of laughed it off, or they, and no offense to them, I got a lot of love for them. Don't get me wrong, but nobody was there, you know. And then that's when I realized it's like no one's going to save you as a man. No one cares. She was still getting all the love. You get on the internet, you see her Facebook. She was still getting all the love. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, damn, people really like her, but they don't. What about me? But then I realized through the whole situation, I was nothing. I didn't. People, they're not supposed to want to help me. I'm supposed to want to help myself. I'm a man. I have a balls, dick. I have, saying that they swing into the ground. No, they're not swinging to the ground, but they're swinging around. I'm a man. So, with that being said, maybe I need to start acting like I want to get off my fucking ass. You understand? Because no one's coming here to save me. Who am I going to call? Me? That's it. That's all I have. So, like 50, I remember 50 Cent said that when I got jumped, who was I going to go home and get me? And that's exactly right. Because when I got jumped, the same thing happened. No one came to my aid. No one came to help me. That's the same with when that happened with that girl or that woman. She's older than I am. That's the same thing that happened. No one was there. And that's why as men, no one's going to save us that we find a hobby to save us. That's what I mean. Like as men, that's why I found I started listening to my friends didn't understand me, but they're like, hey, try jujitsu. So out of their advice, I tried jujitsu, and that's what saved me. I saved myself by going into class. That's how I saved myself. Those people saved me by being there, but I knew they weren't going to save me unless I come into class. But I was saved because I found a hobby. In other words, man, that's a big thing for a man that's depressed. No one's going to come save you, bro. If you're depressed, no one's there to save you. No one's here. Maybe this will. If you listen to my advice by finding yourself a hobby to keep yourself busy, then you might find maybe you might find someone new, or maybe you won't. But then, to me, I'm really content and happy because now I have something I want to do. Because I don't even though I haven't been going to jiu-jitsu class for a while. I don't have. God dang, I got a call. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? But I got a phone call. So anyway, I was just you know, I realized, at those lowest moments, I realized no one was there to save me, and that's why I had to. You finding hobbies is what saves you, and then eventually, you might meet people through their hobbies, or maybe what I'm saying, but that's what ends up saving you. I remember I didn't understand when one of my best friends, 10, 15 years ago or so, has it been that long? I think it's been about 13 years, I guess. He got divorced, and he was really depressed, man. Got into drugs really bad and everything, and he ended up starting to ride horses and doing ranch work, and that started to help him. And he was, just I don't know, he became better, you know, he became a better person. He ended up finding somebody, and they've been together ever since. But he ended up become instead of being so depressed for a couple months like he was 13 years ago, he became a better person, and he became he just started having a different hobby, and before you know it, those horses and riding the horses and doing that stuff, it saved his life. And I respect that, and I didn't understand it at the time. I was like, that sounds stupid, but then I had to learn for myself all my bullshit, and I realized that's how I feel about jujitsu. I don't ever want to see myself leaving the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. Even if I do take a couple month break, I'm still going to always love jiu-jitsu, and I'm always going to come back, and I'm always going to train. And to me, you know what I mean? I think that's what helps a man, because we know no one's going to help us. We know no one cares. That's why you don't see us when you talk to me, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine, man, I'm good. And really, sometimes the guy's not good. He's not good. But he knows you don't care. Even though you ask, how are you doing? You don't care. So there was a lot of things that I had to learn from that, Um, but yeah, and that's what I was going to talk about. That, you know what I'm saying? But like, and if you're like desperate for love and you're lonely, don't simp. You know what I mean? As men, we should not simp. You know, the difference between a simp and a real man is, you know what a simp does? Oh yes, but he gives her flowers or everything. A real man does the same thing with your, you know, like yeah, if you're married to a woman, you're supposed to treat her like a princess. But if you're not married to that woman and she has no intention on being with you and she's not with you, you don't treat her like a princess. You know, like I knew some guys to pay this woman's bills, and she only never slept with him at all, and she would always just like talk to other men, keep her options open. And meanwhile, he's coming up to her job, bringing flowers on her birthday. He's buying chocolates. He's on what's that, February fucking Valentine's Day. You know, he's doing all this shit, but he has never even got the pussy. He paid her rent and still just kept going, thinking he was going to end up with her, but he never did. I used to be that guy in my 20s. I used to think, like, oh, if I treat her nice enough, she'll notice me. If I treat her nice enough, she will notice me. But she didn't. I remember I had a crush on this one woman I worked with, and she kept on going back to her boyfriend and beating shit out of her every day, a lot of times. And I say, just say the word. No. She'd come to me with all her problems. You're my friend. That's all I ever was. I'd buy her stuff. I remember, her car needed a tire. I bought her a tire. I thought, surely enough now, she would definitely notice me and notice I'm a good man. Wrong, dumbass, stupid piece of shit, motherfucker. Oh, you're stupid, and like I remember that. I remember like I'm thinking, damn, dude, and that taught me right there. I think that was the second one I fell in love with. That taught me right there to never ever simp, because also when you're simping, you're fucking up yourself mentally. Mentally, you're like fuck, because you know all these like dudes that are just like mean to women. Usually, a lot of them were six before. Usually, a lot of them are like, I love her. I'd never call her a bitch. Now you see them like, man, fuck that bitch. All these bitches can fucking burn in hell. You know what I'm saying? Fucking hoes, that's what they deserve. Shit like that. Like, I know guys like that. I know guys that literally just sleep with women and just like throw them away now. But I remember them back in the day, they weren't like that. And it's not anybody's fault. But the problem is that like they started simping and then it fucked with them mentally. Because you were simping for someone that didn't want you. You were chasing someone that didn't want you. And when it got away and found somebody that was way worse than you, you're like, damn, that fucks with you. That fucks with you hard. And that's kind of like what that last woman I was in love with too. It fucked with me hard. And I was like, damn, bro, like I really, really loved her. She told me she loved me too. I had that in the bag. But instead, she still wanted to suck someone else's dick. He had more money than me. And that fucked me up a long time. I'm barely digging myself out of it. It's been almost 3 years. I think my best friend, honestly, between that situation, if my best friend would have been alive, I would have dug myself out of it a lot faster because he always knew what to say. But I remember that. And I got best friends and stuff now, but I don't ever tell them all what's going on because they don't care. Well, it's not that they don't care; they don't know what to say, and it's like they're like, "You're a man, bro. Come on," because they're the same as me. They're like, we be going through it, but it's like, why cry about it? We gotta, why you're wasting time sitting around crying like a bitch? You're gonna be up trying to solve your problems. You know what I mean? And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. No, I'm just kidding. But no, like that's the bottom line for real. Because Derek Cole said so. And but never like as men, we also need to never ever put ourselves on the back burner. Never be it's like being a simp. You're accepted that you're on the back burner. You're accepted that you're not the main course, but you're always there. When she's insulting your intelligence, when she's insulting who you are, when she's insulting your ancestors, pretty much, you got to fucking say fuck it and move on. It's hard, bro. But that's what happens when you're on rock bottom. Because if you don't move on, you might be missing out on something better. Or maybe she will come back to you. And she realizes, like, hey, dude, this guy was really there for me, and now he's not. And I love him, but like I don't want to be with him. And then now all of a sudden she wants to be with you because you left. But at the same time, it's like don't even let her come back. Because that's how I am. Like I had one try to come and show me a lot of love. Nah, you good. You good. You had your fun. You're over there sucking his dick. Remember? What about me? You didn't care about me. You know what I mean? You didn't give a fuck about me. So go on with your life. But you gotta value yourself too. Well, you ain't got a woman. You're alone. Yeah. But you goddamn right. I'm bad. I'm a high quality motherfucker though. I'm high quality as fuck. I value who I am. That's where it starts. In order for you to want other people to value you, you got to value yourself first. You know what I mean? A lot of people value me as a friend because they know I'm awesome. They know I'm a good dude. And I'm not trying to brag on myself, but because at the end of the day, I realized I had to realize that about myself. I was wondering why people were looking down on me, and I was like, oh shit, I look down on myself. You know what I mean? Anyway, I think we're going to end here. Kind of getting boring. And I really hope you guys are having a good week, man. Have a good weekend, bro. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do. I'm just kidding. I know there's another thing people are talking about too. Is the Bad Bunny halftime show. I'm gonna get this out of the way. The halftime shows have not been catered to men in years. You know, of course you're gonna play Bad Bunny. He's a piece of shit. The halftime show is a piece of shit. I've never heard a Bad Bunny song. I don't think. Well, no, I heard like one. I guess I heard clips of them. I never heard like sit down and listen to a Bad Bunny song. But everybody's talking shit about the people that talk shit about Bad Bunny being on the halftime show. But you gotta understand, the people that talk shit about Bad Bunny being on the halftime show are the real football fans. They don't cater to us real football fans anymore. The NFL halftime show has never been for the football fans. If it was, they'd play like Slipknot or George Strait or something. You know what I mean? They would play something that was hardcore, that was gangster. Well, they played Dr. Dre and them back then, but they also had Kendrick Lamar that knew jack shit. So, like, what I'm trying to say is, if they actually cared about the people that really watch football, they wouldn't have been spotlighting Taylor Swift so much. They would have been spotlighting all that gay pop star shit when you're watching, and then also the team that Taylor Swift goes for wins again. They wouldn't be spotlighting that gay shit. Well, except for last year, that team that Taylor Swift went for lost, which is awesome. But Bad Bunny is another fruitcake fuck that they're going to throw up there. And guess what they're going to do next year? Another fruitcake fuck. And the year after that. And the year after that. Fruitcake fucks. Because that's what gets fucked in the ass in Hollywood. And so therefore, that's what happens. Everybody's getting fucked in the ass. He took in the ass by Jay-Z, so he gets to be on the NFL football team. Halftime show. Yay. Yay. Another man getting fucked like a woman is going to be on the halftime show. What a coincidence. Show me which one that hasn't been fucked in the ass. I'm pretty sure they all have. Okay? So, with that being said, guys, it is what it is. And the NFL halftime show is not for men. The commercials are not for men. None of it is for men anymore. And one guy said, there's not for men anymore. Football ain't for men. No, it's not. It's for money-making schemes. It's for people getting fucked in the ass. It's for devil worshiping. And then one year they had Rihanna and all them dressed all in red and shit. Come on now. You know who I blame? Israel. I blame Israel. Because they do own most of our media. And you notice how they try to feminize men. That's a good way of doing it. Is putting people like Bad Bunny up there singing, dancing around, and shaking his butt. Shaking his loose butt. Loose butt. That man was he. Loose butt. I don't care. Look, you're gay, it's cool. But I just don't think that football thing. I just don't think football's football anymore. I don't even feel like I literally used to love watching it. It used to be like a cool thing. You and the boys get together on a Sunday, barbecue, drink some beer, watch football, laugh, dance, scream at each other, scream at the TV, eat nachos. Now it's like, but it's all a part of the scheme to not let us think that America is fallen. Just like in Rome, they did the same thing. They put on circuses and gladiator acts. It's the same thing. Did you read a football game last night? A bunch of big gladiators fighting each other, making billions of dollars. Ain't done shit for the world. Whatever, one football player made a school for kids. Ain't done shit for the world, like I said. The school didn't teach them anything, right? You know? I'm just being real with you, dude. You know? All distraction. It's all a distraction. Remember that, guys. It's all a distraction. It really is. You know? So thank you guys for listening. Went a little long today. But I also haven't been around in a while, so hey, so it's going to make up for it. It won't make up for it. It won't. You're still going to bitch and cry. But hey, I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Everything you do for me is great. Remember, Super Bowl is just nothing but another distraction. And as for anything else, man, just if you have any questions for this podcast, hit me up. The Derrek Ribera Show. Of course, you can find me on Instagram at L_Padrino BJJ007. That's me. You know what I'm saying? And guys, remember, always stay true to yourselves, man. You know what I'm saying? And realize that finding the hobby is the best way to help yourself. It's the best way to help yourself is find another hobby, guys. So thank you guys for listening. You guys have a great day and enjoy your life.